My name is Sylvia Kafui Acha. I am your host, and I'm standing in for your regular host, Dr. Jonas Oseyedu. Mercury AMF is a project that actually seeks to help in decontaminating these sites that have been contaminated with mercury, with avuscular mycorrhizal fungi. And so I have here with me researchers who are part of this project. Please introduce yourselves by mentioning your name, your institute, your role on this project.
Gabriel Gadatsky. I'm working in University of Hohenheim in Stuttgart, Germany, and I'm scientific coordinator of the project, and my task is coordinating the PhD students inside the University of Hohenheim, because we have several sub-projects who is dealing with separate topics. In each sub-projects, altogether we have 4 PhD students, and that's one part of this big project. And the second big partner in this project is Inok GmbH, and I give the chance to Imke Hutter to present herself.
All right, next person, please.
Yes, thank you. My name is Thank you. My name is Imke Hutter. I am the work package leader of work package 2 in this project, which deals with the isolation and propagation of the mycorrhizal fungi for the phytoremediation of mercury. And we wanted to conduct this workshop to get to start capacity building. And yeah, we are quite happy about the whole procedure.
All right.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Yeah, my name is Miriam Iret. I'm working also for the University of Hohenheim and in the Research Center for Global Food Security and Ecosystems. And my part in the project, Mercury AMF, is project communication and also project management. So I'm supporting Sergei Blagodatsky and also Professor Dr. Wünsche in project coordination.
All right. So thank you for coming on our show. And I'll start by asking you your general impressions about the first virtual workshop that just ended a while ago. So I'll start with you, Miriam.
Yeah, I think it was a successful workshop. It was a good opportunity to meet online, and sure we had some technical trouble, but I think we overcome it quite good, and the participation was very active, and it was interesting for me to listen to the question and also to the presentations.
All right. MK, your general impressions.
Yeah, my general impression also very good. I'm really glad that so many participants took part, more than 30, and in this running procedure. And my role was minimal in this case, because this was mostly presented by Inok GmbH, by another partners. But I also learned a lot of interesting and good from this workshop, and I do hope that it helped to our project to disseminate the knowledge and get a good cooperation.
Okay, MK, your general impressions.
I was happy that we were able to run the presentations for such a long time without any problems. And I appreciated especially the manifold questions. So we had a real discussion. It's always difficult when you have a virtual workshop that yeah, you talk to your computer, but you don't have a direct feedback. But through the chat and with the questions, we felt really that yeah, there was a lot of input and output. So I liked the whole procedure a lot.
Okay. Sergi, I'd like you to give us an overview of what Mercury AMF project is all about.
Yeah, overall aim is to get contaminated soil again productive and get rid of hazard, in our case mostly mercury. And because after this small-scale gold mining in Galamsey, soil is again used for agricultural purposes. People grow their crops, and we really would like that it is not hazardous anymore. This is general aim of the project. And of course, we have specific research task to understand what happens when we plant these mycorrhizal plants on soil and how they are acting together with microorganisms and how they can decontaminate the soil. A general task of the IMF Mercury project. I think all details was presented in during this workshop, and people who are interested could look at our webpage and also on material of this workshop presentation, and I think it was useful. Yeah, that's short answer.
So, as the coordinator, how are you able to coordinate all the member countries for this project in this era of COVID-19?
Miriam, maybe you can answer how you handle with this COVID problems.
Yeah, I think it's a challenge for all of us in the project. Not only in the project, it's all over the world. It's a challenge, and how we handled it in the project. So we were writing emails to each other. Then we shared a newsletter to keep us updated. Sometimes we were sending WhatsApp messages and asking each other how is it going, if everybody is healthy. So we were using the digital tools as much as it was possible to keep in contact and to keep the collaboration alive. And for the scientific part, we are still looking for strategies how to adapt to, someone told me once, to the new normal. So we are trying to find strategies as today that we couldn't give a hands-on training. So therefore we thought in our team, Beloved from Crops Research Institute, Imke from INOC, and Sergey from University of Hohenheim, we sit together online and thought how it's possible to have a training. And then we use the digital tools.
Who are the partners for this project, and how long is this project going to last?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are now in the middle of the project. The project will end in January 2022.
Okay.
And the partners are INOC so I will start with the German partners. It is the company INOC,
Okay.
who produces mycorrhiza and offers consulting and capacity building. The second German partner is the University of Hohenheim, where Sergey and me belongs to.
Okay.
Then in Ghana, we have the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR.
Okay.
And there it's Crops Research Institute, the Institute of Environment and Agricultural Research, INERA. And also Vascal is involved in Burkina, but also in Ghana as a national coordinator in Burkina. Then also involved in the project are several stakeholder representatives. These are, for example, municipalities, ministry, and also SMEs.
Okay.
So it's a multidisciplinary team,
Okay.
which is very valuable for the project.
Yeah, it's a great
Thank
team. MK, the one who is in the lab, who made the workshop more scientific. MK, You visited the mining sites time ago, and I'd like to know your experiences.
It was very hot, but we were able to collect soil samples that we could investigate here. What was astonishing for me or important for me to see is that it is important to have local contacts, actually, because it's a very sensitive topic, and people don't want to be spied out, actually. So we were lucky that we could meet with people in the villages, and also that we could take soil samples, that we were allowed to take them home. I mean, just imagine somebody comes in and takes out a shovel and digs in your acre. You wouldn't like that here too. So you have to be very sensible and diplomatic when you conduct this kind of work. And we are lucky to have the local contacts, the PhD students who are very familiar with the sites. And it was very important to have Enoch, for example, and also Ferdinand, who really helped us a lot. And of course, Beloved. Without him, this would not have been possible at all.
Okay, before we come to how this mycorrhizal fungi or these microbes are going to help in Africa, I'd like to know how Europe is responding to the usage of microbes in soil management.
In general, the market is rising a lot. There's different aspects. Farmers are forced to use less by law. Actually, we here in Germany we find nitrogen in the groundwater, and farmers should use less nitrogen, so they somehow have to use what is in the soil better. And here, soil microorganisms help a lot. So the awareness of the benefits of biostimulants is rising. And on the other hand, what we notice is that the big players like Bayer and Monsanto, the big producers of pesticides and also fertilizers, by small SMEs like us, for example, to gain the knowledge for the biostimulants, and or they also do a lot more research to get knowledge on their own. And this is something where we clearly can see that the interest at the moment shifts a lot and is in favor of biostimulants, and also the use of microorganisms to restore the soil life.
All right. Earlier, when I asked you about your experiences when you visited the mining sites, you mentioned that it was hot. I'd like to know, will this hotness affect the microbes when you start implementing it in Ghana or in Africa? Because we know heat denatures or destroys microbes.
Well, normally the microbes are adapted to the soil where they are living in, so it does not really affect them. It's more drought that affects them. They need water and they need a plant root, but when they have both, the heat is not too relevant because they can survive that.
Okay. And is there anything beneficial with effect to the quality of our foods?
The first aim of the project is the phytoremediation, the restoration after the mercury extraction, and then afterwards a use in food production, in agriculture. And here it can certainly help the crops because it restores the soil life. What we want is to restore what has been there before the Galamsey. And so we are sure that mycorrhiza is one of the parts that can help for restoration of the soils.
What phytoremediation is? it sounds too technical to some ears. So can you break it down?
Well, that a plant takes up a contaminant and either it accumulates it, and so when you take out the plant, you extract the contaminant together with the plant. In case of mercury, it could also be that because mercury is very volatile, that the plant evaporates the mercury. So the mercury would go via the roots through the plant and then into the air and evaporate there. And so there's different types of phytoremediation, but in general it means that you restore the soil or you extract contaminants via plants. In case of when you add the mycorrhiza, you hope that the mycorrhiza increases this process, but this is something investigated. That's in the scientific part of the University of Hohenheim.
Okay, is that why you term this fungi as friendly?
When it comes to food production or plant production in general, when you talk about fungi, people think about pathogens in the first place.
Yes.
And we don't deal with pathogens, but with the good side. So that's why we say friendly fungi, to make people aware that there's not only the bad ones, but also the good ones.
Okay.
It's difficult to explain and to make people give you also that when you apply a fungus into a plant production system, it's for the good and not for the bad.
Okay, okay. Just as other microbes are beneficial in our food production. Anyway, so how can this project help in the scaling up of production here in Africa?
Well, in all the knowledge that we have all together, all the project partners, we gain knowledge during in all our work packages, and we want to bring that back also via this virtual workshop. A hands-on training would be better, but it's not possible at the moment. To make people aware that there is something else to remind when you talk about.
Let me move on to Segi, the coordinator. I wanted to know, as the coordinator for this project, if there is any component for capacity building for those in Africa.
If there is a company for capacity building?
I think that capacity building, that means mainly the knowledge transfer in Africa. And that's one of the aims of our project. And that's what we are doing during this seminar, virtual seminar today, because now, of course, this is a first step, but later when it will be this knowledge transfer and capacity building. This is a practical issue. Besides that, of course, we will share our research knowledge with research publications and conferences and meetings, like we had already in Burkina Faso, this one and later on. And this knowledge will help develop these bioproducts in Africa later, in general, and specifically in collaboration with Inab GmbH.
So, apart from sharing of knowledge and all, what about capacity building in terms of equipment?
In sense of equipment, okay, that was one sensitive issue, because German Ministry of the Research and Education cannot support directly with purchasing equipment for Africa. But what I have seen during my visit, there are some equipment due to donors as World Bank, which are not really in use. And in that sense, I think our project could really help, because we can teach, or some students can visit Germany and learn how to use this equipment, and later will use it. That's one part of the answer. And the second, of course, we can apply for separate funding for equipment, which will be used in a similar project or whatever. But directly, we cannot, for example, buy some equipment for a research institute in Ghana.
This is a question to all of you. Earlier, MK mentioned that they don't know how they are going to explain to people the usage of microbes in this phytoremediation process. Do you think this will be a very big challenge for you in terms of implementing this whole project?
I think that's a very important issue, and we address that also in a work package. This is why one of the PhDs is working on that, to find out what is the knowledge and what could be the acceptance of such new products, methodologies. And this is something that we were not aware in the first step of the project implementation, but the ministry asked for it. And so this is a rather big work package, actually. And I think it's one of the most important. I mean, we have to work scientifically in natural science first to develop everything, but then later on it comes to the sociologists, and they are really important to explain us what we must do and how we should master this, what could be a hurdle. It's not necessarily so, but it could be.
So a follow-up to what you just said. Earlier, Miriam mentioned all the partners involved in this project. Mini et al. Is there, which is a formidable team. That's what I see. But I want to know if there are socioeconomists or sociologists or people in that area, part of this project, that will help in the people accepting this whole goal or objective. Sorry.
Maybe I can continue to explain. That's clear that if even we have very good product, it will depend who will buy it, and he will allow this to be applied. And it's interesting that in different countries, different problems could exist, because, for example, in Ghana, you have this ban for illegal mining, yes. And it's not so strict in Burkina Faso, for example. Yeah. And that's also impact the application of these products. The easiest way would be to apply in big mining companies, but they not use mercury already, and they need a little bit other type of micarization and phytoremediation. But for small-scale mining, that's really an issue to find an institutions who will be interested in this product. And for that, exactly as Inke already said, we have one separate work package to investigate that, and to finally to get recommendation how to better approach this problem. That would be my answer for that. Maybe add addition.
And maybe one addition. Okay. Our socio-economists in the project, they are not present today, because today it was more the natural science focus for the workshop.
Yeah.
But they will have stakeholder dialogues. They will organize dialogues with farmers to see how our project results can be exploited in a sound manner. Because it's often not only knowledge transfer, it's the exchange of knowledge, and to see how to adapt the results to the local conditions, conditions that it fits to the farmers and to the stakeholders' background and livelihoods.
Yes. So when do we anticipate that you'll be conducting the hands-on training of this workshop as a follow-up to the virtual workshop?
Planned for 21. You know that it had been planned for this year already. We have to see how the whole situation worldwide continues. Louis and I were discussing in one of the breaks that we had here, if it's not possible to come, if we could do some video clips of the methods, but I think we have to discuss that within the consortium and also with the ministry, because this would need some funds probably for camera systems or companies taking these video clips. But we will carry on definitely with this capacity building, because otherwise what can we do? We need to transfer the knowledge back, and this is really important.
Last question. Apart from this project or this fungi helping farmers, that is about reclamation of land, or what the objective of this project. Let's look at the financial aspect or the profitable aspect. For example, if an institution like CSIR joins in the production of this mycorrhizal fungi.
Well, you know that I had been talking about this registration and standardization process. And for example, when it comes to registration of products, I think SRI would be the first institution to conduct those registrations. I know from my visit and my talks to Ephraim that they are doing consultancy for mining companies, and it could be the same for biostimulating companies. So this would be something they would profit from, and of course they would be the institutions to also consult the governments when it comes to setting up the standards in your national laws. But this is something that this is an ongoing discussion where we also can consult because of our experience that we have here.
So we are about wrapping up this whole interview. Earlier you mentioned something about media. I hope CRI TV will be involved.
Okay. Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
thank you.
You don't have to forget about CRI TV. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Since 8:30 a.m. here in Ghana till now is about 2:14 here in Ghana. I'd like to thank you so much for spending this long time with us. It's been very, very, very educative. It's been beneficial, as the mycorrhizal fungi is going to be beneficial to farmers or agriculture. Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you so much, Sergi. Thank you so much, MK. Louise, I know probably he's on break. And then the dog that was back in. All right. Danke.
Thank you.
CRI TV, beyond the research.